real quick tutorial on sprites. Alright, so we talked about before that imagine a drawing on a piece of paper. It's just a bunch of color and lines. But if it were to become a sprite, imagine that drawing standing up off of the paper and becoming a three-dimensional object that can be modified with scripts. Hope that makes sense. So anyways, let's get into this sprite. Here we have Scratch the Cat on our stage. Down here is Scratch the Cat as a sprite in our inventory. If we press the I here for information, this is going to give us some very important information on how this sprite will interact with Scratch the program and how we'll identify this sprite. So first off is the name. So we're going to call this Scratch the Cat. And if I hit the back arrow, you will see that now this sprite is no longer called Sprite 1, but it's Scratch the Cat. It's back to the info. You also will see that the coordinates of where this sprite is currently located on the stage is identified by an X location and a Y location. You can also see it up here in the workspace, X location, Y location. What is that referring to? Well, as you can see, I've set up a backdrop here that is displaying the X and Y axis for the Scratch program. If we look carefully, the X axis runs left to right on a horizontal plane, and the Y axis runs up and down on a vertical plane. Starting at the center, you will see that the value for X and Y is 0. So if you wanted a sprite to move to the exact center of the stage, you would say that it would go to X0 and Y0. That is the coordinates for the center of the stage. And to show you that, let's say Scratch Cat was down here. All I have to do is double click this script, and ta-da, Scratch the Cat moves directly to the center of the stage. And for this video lesson, Scratch the Cat is going to be a Mr. That way I can say he. Alright, Mr. Scratch the Cat is now at the center of the stage. Let's get back to these axis points. As you can see, if Scratch the Cat were to move to the left of the stage, the x-axis would decrease. So let me move the coordinates here, Scratch here, and look at the coordinates. X is in the negative. If we move Scratch past the center of the stage to the right side of the stage, X is in the positive numbers. Same thing with the y-axis. When Scratch flies up into the air, Scratch is moving in a positive direction on the y-axis. If Scratch is falling down the y-axis, Scratch is moving in a negative direction on the y-axis. So there you have it. Negative x, negative y, positive x, positive y. Alright, this background is available in the Scratch library. If we go here, new backdrop, choose from the library. I believe it's in Other, and it's called the XY grid. So feel free to use that to get some more practice with the X and Y axis. Let's get back to the information on our sprite. So we have the coordinates. Now let's talk about this over here. Direction, 90 degrees. What is that talking about, 90 degrees? Is that the temperature of the day? I hope not. It is actually referring to a 360 degree circle. The degrees are talking about what angle is created between these 2 points on the circle. So if Scratch the Cat is facing the right direction, that would be facing the 90 degrees on a circle. If Scratch the Cat were to rotate, as I can do with the controls here, down to 180 degrees, Scratch the Cat would be facing south, or the bottom of the circle. And 270 degrees, or negative 90. Okay, 270. And then all the way back around is 360 degrees, or also known as 0. So let me go back up here, and there, 0. Scratch is facing north. One way to remember this would be if you ever watched any X Games, skateboarding, or snowboarding, when you hear an announcer say, "Whoa, look at, he busted a 360. That's referring to a full rotation on their board. Sometimes you might hear him say, "Oh, and there you have it, a 720. That's referring to 2 full rotations. And of course there are other variables like 540 and a 180. Those are all referring to the degrees of a circle. Alright, so now you guys know your X games and you know the degrees of a circle. So let's set Scratch the Cat back to 90. Alright, facing right here. Okay, let's go on to rotation style. Now this is referring to the ability to rotate your sprite. It'll make more sense if we run this script over here. When I press the green flag, forever move 10 steps, and if you're on the edge, bounce. So let's get this going. I'm going to change my backdrop just for the sake of the axis. Boom. Alright. Start him up here and run this script. Boom. Currently, Scratch the Cat has a gravity problem. You can see that he likes to travel upside down on his head from time to time, and other times he travels by foot. So if we go to the information here, this will clue us into what's happening. Currently, Scratch's rotation style is set to be able to rotate in any direction. So when Scratch bounces off the wall, he flips upside down. If we only want him to face left and right, we would choose this option here with the 2 arrows. Now he just bounces left to right. Or if you don't want any rotation to happen, not even have him turn around, you would choose this option. And there you go. So 3 rotation styles, and you will have to determine what you want to happen in your project before you choose one of these. But it's lots of fun. Another option down here is called Can Drag in Player. What this means is when a user is using your program, if Scratch the Cat were, say, I don't know, an eraser, and you created a paint program, it would mean that you could drag the eraser onto the stage and use it. Otherwise, when you're playing, you can notice I can't drag Scratch the Cat at all. So again, can drag the player in would mean that you can drag Scratch the Cat during the game, or whatever sprite you're using. Okay, pretty cool. And last but not least, you can show your sprite or hide your sprite. Okay, so these are the controls or the information regarding your sprite. I hope that helps everyone. We are going to get into some code in our next tutorial, and I will see you then.